Michelle is a musician with albums released as Everyone Except Me and artist behind the post-apocalyptic webcomic Stray Cats. She's kind, a bit shy, and furiously creative. Henrik is a filmmaker with over 24 films and TV shows as producer, director, and occasionally host. He also released a couple of music albums. He's bombastic, larger than life, and tenacious almost to a fault. Together, they've been best friends for a decade. This show is awkward.
So, all right, recording Zoom is rolling. Whoa, what did you do?
I just wanted to move the computer back a little. So I'm not.
This is chaos. This is pure and utter chaos.
There we go. I fixed it, I think. Not really.
Okay. All right. I'm going to record on Zen. All right. So, we've been chronicling for the last few weeks the veterinarian adventures of Henwolf. 2 weeks ago, she went in to have a teeth cleaning, a tooth extraction, and most importantly, 2 masses removed. And they left very big, incisions. Because for those who don't know, when you get a mass removed, you want to take what they call, you want to take wide margins, which is you want to take as much skin around the tumor as you can, in case the tumor is cancerous or whatever, because you want to get as much of the cancerous cells as possible. So, the results came back, no cancer in the tumors. So that's great.
Yay.
I wasn't scared, particularly that it was cancer because she's just prone to fatty tumors. These are not the first tumors she's had removed. She's had a lot of tumors removed, but we still test them if they don't look good. The way the vet does it is they basically say they tell me I can either say that's definitely not cancerous or I don't know.
Yeah.
So she's like, if it's an I'm not sure, then it goes to the lab. And then they will be sure. So, but the one tumor was definitely not cancer, and the other one was I'm not sure. So they sent that to the lab. The lab said no cancer. But that put Henwolf through the living hell that is the dog cone, which many dogs have suffered through the dog cone. But Henwolf is not just any dog. She is a Saint Bernard, Collie or Australian Shepherd mix. So she's whip smart and a fucking tank of a monster of a dog. I mean, she's literally clipped my feet out from under me when we were playing. Just dove for my legs, knocked me over. I'm so glad she doesn't make a habit of that, because otherwise I would be just afraid to live in my own home. But she's a monster and she's built like a tank. So her with the cone, she was just whacking things with the cone all day long, hitting into door frames, hitting into shelves, hitting into tables, hitting into me. And it was a very long 2 weeks of her wearing that cone. And I remember the mortified reaction when they told me she needed to wear it for 2 weeks as well.
I thought it went pretty fast, actually.
That's because time has no meaning anymore.
Yeah, I mean, for you,
I feel like time has no meaning for most. Even people working are kind of like, "What day? Oh yeah. It's Thursday."
Yeah, but that's always it. So then I guess just time has no meaning. So.
Well, time is a man-made construct.
It's not.
How is it not?
I mean, things progress.
Do they?
I don't know. Yes. It's not though. We put names on it, and we, that kind of stuff. But it's not time doesn't exist. It's still there. Even if we didn't call it an hour, it would still be a passage of time.
I think you're just trying to defend your hopes of time travel someday.
I don't know
That's
if I
what it
want.
Sounds like to me.
I don't know if I want time travel. Honestly, I don't know.
Let the record show. Michelle just said she doesn't want to go back and kill Hitler. She thinks everything he did was fine, and and in fact, I think she used the term tubular. It was totally tubular.
It's tubular. I say tubular all the time. So
this whole statement is pretty much just classic, typical Michelle speak. So, but okay. So the 2 weeks went by pretty quickly overall, but it was honestly the longest 2 weeks I've had in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I take her in at 2:30 to get the staples removed because they use staples on the back of her neck, and then there's one right above her butt. Which that's why she had to wear the cone so long, because I mean the one over her butt, that's prime like dog licking chewing space. So you don't want her pulling out those staples.
Yeah.
So I take her in. And Wolfie is the weirdest dog in the world. She just leaps out of the car and runs right up the steps into the veterinarian's office. She loves people. She loves her vet. She loves the nurses. She loves strangers. So she just like runs. I mean, she ran up without me, because right now, because of COVID, they just come to your car and take your dog, so you don't go in. So
that's so weird.
It is weird. So Wolfie just runs right up, and about 6 minutes later, they bring her back out, and the cone is off. They let me keep the cone because they said they were fascinated. They said I might be fascinated by the amount of stress fractures in this cone. So I take her home. Everything is right with the world. She's now laying on the couch and snuggling up the way that she's used to, which that was the thing that made me the saddest about it, was that she had like very specific places she liked to snuggle and sleep and nap, and she was only doing maybe half of them because the cone just made everything more uncomfortable. Yeah. Now she's just like on the couch all the time and snuggling up with my other dog Chicano all the time. But of course there's a but. At exactly like 5 o'clock, I go to pet Henwolf on the couch, and I see there's just a little bit of blood on the back of her neck. And I look, and her neck wound had opened just a little bit. Not a lot. It wasn't like gushing blood or anything like that. It had opened just a little bit. And so I cleaned it, real quick with a Q-tip and some peroxide. And then I called the vet because I was like, at first I was like, it's probably no big deal. But then at the same time, I was like, yeah, but like I can see where the skin is separated a little bit, and that'll take a long time to heal without staples or something, So I call the vet. I tell them what's up. They say, okay, could you just text us a picture, and then we'll let you know if we need you to come in right away or not. So I send them a picture, and then, the next text is like, how soon can you be here? And I'm like, I'll leave in literally 2 minutes. So I put Chicano in his crate and listen to him whine as Henwolf and I leave without him, because he hates when we leave without him.
He wants to get stitches too.
Oh, he is terrified of the vet. He does not like the vet at all. He's the polar opposite. I have to take him. This will be the end of the story, so I'll get there in a second. But so I take him to the veterinary hospital that I use, and they took Wolfie in, and I wait about 25 minutes or so, maybe a little less, and then my vet comes out, which was very nice of her, because vet's not involved with the removal of stitches. She wasn't there when they pulled the staples out, because why would she need to be? She's a vet. She's got surgeries and stuff to do. Because she did the surgery. So she comes out and she tells me, okay, so here's the deal. The split was unusual. I am shocked. 14 days should be plenty of time for it to heal, but things happen. She's like, so I personally put 2 staples in that should get it to heal right. It should only take a week before they need to come out. And then she was like, but here's the thing. I'm going to give you some antibiotics just in case there's an infection that we can't see, which might be causing this. So just in case, we'll give her antibiotics. And then she was like, and I'm going to schedule you next week to come and see me. And I'm going to look at it and assess if I want to take the staples out.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. And she was nice enough to tell me that she wiped it all from the books. I didn't get charged for her time. Because, she's the doctor.
Good.
So, technically, just by automatically, anytime she sees someone, you get billed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was also nice. She didn't bill me for anything for it. Which, and I think that's fair, but I also appreciate it. Mm-hmm. I would have been pretty mad if I had to go there and then I was like, I paid $100. You guys didn't do it right. But so luckily, Henwolf is the easiest dog in the world to give pills to. These pills are not dog pills. They're just, normal, capsule pills with powder in them.
Oh.
I just put a dab of canned cheese on the pill and hold it out to her, and she licks it up and swallows it. Like, I am worried that you could just take a ball bearing and put a little cheese on it and hand it to her. She would just slurp it up and be gone.
Well, she probably would.
She probably would. Well, when I gave her her first dose, the vet was laughing because she was like, and she was like, if you have any problem with the pills, you can crack them open and just pour the powder onto something and give it to your dog.
Mm-hmm,
and I literally told her, I was like, I'm just going to drop the pill on top of her bowl of kibble and it will be gone.
Yeah.
See, now Chicano, you could put a pill inside of a baked ham, like a piece of baked ham, and he would eat all around it and drop the pill right at your feet and then look you dead in the eye.
Yeah.
Like, nice try, loser.
He's like a cat. Yeah.
No, in that way, he is very cat-like. Mm-hmm. And also, and it's always, the worst part is with Chicano especially, his health demands and Henwolf's health demands have been a bit different, obviously. Chicano is a slightly smaller dog. He's what we think is a border collie husky mix. So he's stubborn and smart and very fluffy. But there's been a lot of fireworks going off lately, and he has fireworks anxiety. But the problem is, it's not that the fireworks are that big of a deal. It's that the fireworks are more than normal. Like a lot more than normal.
Yeah.
Like way louder.
Yeah.
Because Wolfie doesn't react to anything, really. She doesn't really care about loud booms and stuff, but even these fireworks make her bark. She's just like, what was that? Bark, bark, bark. So I had to get Chicano anti-anxiety medicine, and I'm literally trying to get him to take this pill. I'm like, I want to help you, you stupid bastard. The worst is the flea medicine because it's actually flavored. So a dog would like it, which means he hates it. I wish the flea medicine was just a regular pill because that seems to be easier. I literally have to take a mortar and pestle and grind his pills to pure powder and then mix them in with wet food, which he can't resist wet dog food because he doesn't get it really. He only gets it when he gets pills. He loves it, though. He's obsessed with wet dog food. He's obsessed with it. But I have to grind it up, and then I have to mix it with enough wet dog food that he won't turn it away. Because he'll turn it away. He'll just smell it and be like, no thanks. It has stuff in it that'll help me. You're like, please, just take the pill. But so I'll end this because I actually wanted to ask you about your cat experiences with medicine. But
oh, cool. Because I was going to volunteer.
Good. So I'm just going to finish the story with, so I bring Henwolf back next week. And I already had an appointment for Chicano to get his shots. He's due for shots, so I'm gonna get to bring them both in, and it will be hilarious because it's the first time I've ever brought them both to the vet. And Henwolf will be jogging up the stairs to go in and see everyone, and Chicano I'll be coaxing and begging him to please go inside.
Baby.
Oh God, Henwolf is in the room now. Hi, big girl. Oh, she sat perfectly next to me, so I can take a look at her staples. They look good. It looked immediately a million times worse because they reshaved the area. And the skin around her, because the skin on her neck is white, that means the skin is like pink. So it was extra scary at first. I was like, oh my God, like it's all red. And then it was like an hour later, I was like, oh, the fur just needs to grow back in.
Yeah.
She looks like Frankenstein. Yes, she does. She's a good doggy. But yeah, she's literally like laying right by my side now. I'm scratching her shoulders. So tell me about cats and pills.
So I don't have like a ton of experience with cats and pills, but I can tell you the cat that we had when I was growing up, he like just wouldn't eat pill. Like he knew he's like, this is going to help me. I'm not going to let it help me. Not only that, but like he was like, and he's a little grumpy and stuff, but he's a nice cat and he wouldn't like, he's one of those, like he really wouldn't ever try to hurt us or any of that kind of stuff. But the vets were terrified of him because he put up a really good show and he'd like hiss and like scream at them. And they were like, oh my God, this cat's going to attack us. And my mom, like he couldn't go in a carrier because he was too scared. So my mom would just hold him and take him inside. And my mom would be like, you can do things to him. I'll just hold him and you can give him a shot or something. And the vet would be like, we don't know what he's going to do to you. And she'd be like, he's my cat. Like, he doesn't do anything. He loves me. Like, he would never, like, hurt my mom.
You don't
Like,
know what it's going to do.
You don't know. Like, it could go crazy. So they'd, like, take him in the back and, like, he'll, like, get away and, like, run around the back room. And I think there were a couple of times they just, like, they were, like, going to take blood or something. And they just, like, gave up. They're like, that's fine. But he's probably fine. But like we're real weird. We used to take him. Yeah, we used to take him on vacations with us. Because he was a part of the family, and we loved him. And he actually loved cars, loved taking car rides until we took him on vacation, and he got super sick and projectile vomited all over the place. And then he was terrified of cars. And anytime he went in the car, he would just throw up.
How long of a car ride was it?
Like 8 hours or 10 hours.
That's a really long time for an animal.
He did really well for a long time. Then he was just like, I can't. I'm just gonna throw up. So
and then it was just Exorcist. The cat was just like, your mother sucks cocks in hell. Ah! Just poor kitty.
Yeah, pretty much. So we totally destroyed his love of cars, which is really sad.
Aww.
But we didn't know. We never had a cat.
And that's such
before.
an unusual love for a cat to have. So, I mean, that's so uncommon for a cat to have a love of cars. Because, like, both of my dogs love car rides. Mm-hmm. I'm taking them with me to the post office later today. And that's the first time in 2 weeks because Wolfie had that cone and it just made her impossible to manage. She would jump into the car and it would get caught on stuff. And I was worried she was going to hurt herself.
Yeah.
So not that she can really be hurt. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. The vet, when they stapled her, she was like, well, she didn't even react. And I was like, that doesn't surprise me. She's literally a monster. Like, she's literally a monster of a creature.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, she walked out of the vet's office after the surgery just running around, didn't give a shit. And I will say though, the most satisfying part of this entire ordeal was when Henwolf got home and got up on the couch and finally licked that part of her ass that we had denied her licking for 2 weeks.
Good.
It looked like the most satisfying activity any living creature had ever done. She just sat there and she wasn't licking it quick. She was like licking it slow and deliberately, like, finally, I've made it to my point, to my destination. So it was, but that, of course, that one, which was a gigantic incision, that one sealed up completely. It's not changed at all.
Yeah, maybe it's just like that spot.
And that's the thing, unfortunately, with with growths, they grow wherever they will grow. So it's not like it grew in any spot on her neck that made sense, like geometrically or anything. Mm-hmm. It's like it was down and to the right, so the incision had to be diagonally across the back of her neck and stuff. They were afraid that maybe she was pawing at it, but she can't. Her arms are too long. Like, I mean, I did watch her. I watched her super close to make sure she wasn't itching it. Because unfortunately they were like, well, if it turns out that she's in some way itching it, it's cone time. That's what I said too. So, but luckily it's looking good. Also, the staples are supposed to be in pretty good. You need like a pair of pliers to undo them.
I'm pretty sure dog teeth could be like pliers, right?
Oh, well, but I meant she can't bite the back of her neck.
Oh, okay.
At least she hasn't shown me that hidden talent yet.
She could have just been doing all of this while you weren't paying attention. She might just like take off the cone and like pick at it and then put the cone back on and be like, oh, I'm totally fine. That's why I've seemed like it was fine for the last 2 weeks, because I've just been doing stuff when you're not looking.
That wouldn't surprise me. She just like takes the cone off, hops in my car, gets an oil change so I don't notice the extra miles, stuff like that.
That's nice.
Yeah, she's a considerate monster. But yeah, it was just funny because, like, yeah, when the vet told me, like, she didn't even flinch when we stabled her, I was like, I know. I know the beast that you speak of. It's just, she's a terrifying animal. She's just a monster. She's just big and in charge. One time at the vet, there was a Mastiff there, which was about 110-pound dog. Mm-hmm. And Wolfie's about 65 pounds, but she's just big. She's just a large creature. And I always joke, because when we got her, she was like 95 pounds. and we got her to lose weight to be healthier. But I always joke with people. I'm like, you got to understand, size is a matter of personality as well as physicality. And Wolfie's got personality. But this, one of the things I've learned from having dogs is that not every aggressive interaction between dogs is a fight. Sometimes it's just communication. And dogs communicate very differently than humans. A lot of times a dog will just be like, hey, don't do that, I'll kill you. That's not really a threat. Dogs understand, like, hey, don't do that or I'll kill you. Like, if you do that to somebody at the grocery store, they're going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Maybe I'll kill you. Well, if you're in the East Coast, that's the typical reaction. What the fuck you say to me? I'll kill you. I'll kill you. But sorry. I just remember the first month I lived on the East Coast. Somebody hit their cart into me, and I looked at them and smiled, trying to be like, hey, it's okay. And they just looked at me like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And wheeled away. And I was like, I was just being Midwest. I don't know how to be anything else. But but anyway, but this Mastiff was sniffing her, and Henwolf loves other dogs. Mm-hmm. So the Mastiff is sniffing her, and she's sniffing him, and her little nub tail is wagging like crazy. Well, then he starts sniffing her in a part of her head she didn't like, so she goes, "Arr." And he just keeps doing it, so she goes, and just puts her mouth right on the top of his head, and he pulls back, and there's just slobber right across the top of his head.
Whoa.
Her mouth fully right on top of his head.
Whoa.
And then back, and of course the owner pulled him back a little bit. That's the other thing, is you can tell when somebody is an experienced dog owner because they don't freak out about an interaction like that. Because it wasn't a fight. It was one, and then it was over. Because Henwolf was just saying, here's the deal. You're not doing that because I don't want you to. And here's my evidence of such. So, that sound is important. She's just dead asleep next to my phone.
Aww. She's not hearing your impersonations of her.
No, I try not to impersonate her. Rachel's mean. She'll go, oh, 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 which is kind of how Henwolf sounds when she barks. And I'm like, don't taunt the way she speaks. She's a smart girl.
Yeah.
She's like if you cross the dog from Beethoven and the raptors from Jurassic Park. That's what she's like.
Okay. All right. I know what that means.
Also, if you've ever seen the movie Cujo, which is about a killer Saint Bernard, anytime Wolfie gets wet, she just looks like Cujo. Cujo was just a wet Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
So that's when I first got her, I remember friends used to say, if you can't handle me at my Cujo, you don't deserve me at my Beethoven. But that was pretty great. But you took your cat on vacation?
Yeah. So the rest of, and he so not only did he have no problem with cars until we messed him up forever, but he he wasn't one of those cats where he needed to be in the same place. Just bring him on vacation. He's like, oh, okay, I'm here with my family. No problems, no big deal at all.
That's so weird.
Yeah, super weird cat. One of those, he was way more attached. Actually, we think he thought he was a person. And he was, way more attached to us than anything else. So as long as we were around, and no big deal. But
sounds to me like he was a dog.
Yeah, maybe. He really did not think he was a cat. He used to sit at the table and, try to eat with us. But so on the way home from the vacation, the 10 hour away car ride, we were like, we can't do this again. He couldn't do it on the way there. So we went to a vet, and they were like, oh, we'll just give him some tranquilizer medication stuff. That's totally fine. So we do, and it helped a lot. But he doesn't like pills. So you have to force him. You had to force him to eat the pill. Actually, there was a pill pocket, and maybe you get it in there. But even then, he knew once it happened, he knew what it was. So he would pretend he took the pill, but then hide it in his cheek or under his tongue. And then when you weren't looking, he would spit it out somewhere.
No way.
Cats do that.
That's but I expected a cat to be resistant, but not resistant like somebody who has been put in a mental hospital against their will.
No, they're really bad, and that's a lot of thought involved. I have to make them think that I took this, and then I will just not take it.
And then I hide it under my pill, and then eventually, when I have enough pills, I grind them up and put it in their tea, and
exactly,
then I want. Now it's the cat's house.
Yeah. So he was, yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, so you had to like check his mouth afterwards and make sure it went down. Or sometimes he'd like hold it in his throat and then like spit it back up. So
That is literally like having a mental patient that you have to take care of in your house. Just saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my first thought would be, of course, would be grind it up into a powder and put it into the food that he likes.
Yeah, I don't know. This was a while ago, so I don't know what we did.
Well, and not everybody has a mortar and pestle sitting there. I do.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I have a stone mortar and pestle because I like a Puerto Rican food called mofongo. And you need a mortar and pestle to make it. So that's why I have a mortar and pestle.
That makes sense.
Every time I grind a pill up for him, and today's actually flea treatment day, so sometimes I have to take his flea treatment pill, grind it up, mix it with the food, and then leave him locked in his crate for hours with the food till he eats it. And he's a smart dude. He knows that I'm not letting him out until he eats.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll still like just sit there for a couple of hours just staring those cold eyes at me. He's very sweet. He sends mixed signals because Henwolf has like the warmest, most inviting eyes ever. Just I love you. I'll do anything for you forever. And then, but she doesn't like to cuddle or snuggle. She just likes to be pet and scratched. Mm-hmm. But then Chicano will just be like, please lay on the couch with me for the whole day. I'll put my paws up to my head and I'll be so happy. But then when he looks at you, his eyes are just like, you can live or die. It's up to you. Like he's just got that husky coldness in his eyes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pills are with Henwolf. They're not a big deal. The ones that are flavored, I just throw them up in the air and she catches them and eats them.
Wow.
It's just another treat to her.
Mm-hmm.
So with Chicano, it's substantially harder because I actually woke up this morning and I was like, oh crap, I need to give Henwolf her pill. And then I was like, oh yeah, just dab some cheese on it. So I literally just put like the smallest amount of easy cheese on it I could, held my finger up to her mouth and she just licked it off my finger and it was gone.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish all dogs were that easy. That's the thing. Like, I got spoiled. My first dog is just easy at everything. You can just take her to the vet, and she loves it, and she can't wait. And she, we need her to get on the weight thing. Okay, Wolfie, you snap your finger over the weight machine. She jumps up onto it. It's like, but then you got Chicano, and he just looks at me. He's like, I know what you want, but no.
Yeah.
I'm a butthead. You should know that. So his nickname is just Butt. Which I got that from my mom. My mom would call things butt when she didn't like them or when they weren't doing what she wanted. She'd be like, okay, butt, stop being a butt. So now that's me. Now I say that, carrying on a long and storied tradition in my family of saying things are butt.
It's a good tradition. Yeah.
I mean, it's as good as any, I guess. I mean, some families have naval traditions. Some families pass down Fabergé eggs, I guess, but we call things butt.
Yeah.
This thing's butt. And do you see the way this door closes? It closes like butt. Yeah. But mostly it's calling things and people butts. Mm-hmm. Like if a person is taking everybody, but come on, butt. Don't be a butt. Yeah. So I've never called you a butt because you never are a butt. So you should feel good about yourself.
You can call me a butt. I don't care, man. It's all right. Whatever you need.
So, oh my God. But yeah, so the dog thing has been just a little bit much lately. Stress-wise. It just kind of shook everything up for a little bit. But now things are pretty good. And even though I said, I was like, oh, Chicano's so difficult, the vets are pros. So once I hand them his leash, they'll give him his shots.
They don't just go like, what if he attacks us? We don't know what he's going to do.
Well, he's not a cat, so they know he doesn't want to hurt people. He just might have to. It's different. No, I mean, I'm guessing they just judge temperament because they can tell he's just afraid, but he doesn't really lash out when he's afraid. He just hides. I don't want to talk about it forever because it makes me so sad. But I mean, Chicano was hit and stuff.
Yeah.
In his former former ownership. There's no doubt about it. So, and it's so interesting though, because he can be so fearful, but he loves new people. He's not afraid of new people. He's just curious and a little standoffish for like 5 minutes. Literally, when he met my buddy Keith, he barked at Keith for about a minute and a half, and then 20 minutes later jumped up on the couch and laid down next to him.
Aww.
Like, he's not, not an untrusting dog.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how my mom has a cat that we're like positive was hit, because you can't put your hand in front of his face. He gets really scared. But at the same time, he like loves people. He loves to be pet. You just can't go like that because he gets scared.
Chicano flinches a tiny bit when you pet his head, but not like you can still pet him, but he'll kind of sometimes flinch.
Yeah.
It's gotten better now. Like in the first few months I had him, I remember one point I was swiping at a bug near him and he like cowered. He thought I was swinging hands at him, but he doesn't do that anymore. So that's good. I mean, he's been here over a year now. So, I mean, he's going to unlearn some of that the longer it goes,
Yeah, absolutely. The same with my mom's cat. He's gotten better.
Yeah.
But, it's hard. And it's like, it's upsetting because, like if an animal is scared of your hands going towards them, there's an association. Like, it's not like a person where you're like trying to punch them and they're like, oh no, I know what that is. Like they have to have a reason to be afraid of that. And that's not good.
No. But luckily otherwise, he's good. He's not aggressive. He's friendly. He loves children. He's fascinated by cats. I think he wants to snuggle them. Because I thought at first he wanted to chase them or hurt them because he would stand there staring at them. But then he would relax. Like the cat would be sitting there I don't know about you. And he would lay down.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I think he just wants to be near the cat. I don't think he wants to do anything.
Unless he's waiting for the cat to put their guard down and then he's going to attack.
Well, at that point he out-catted the cat. So he wins. He's allowed to eat that cat.
Yeah, actually, honestly, I mean, cats are always kind of ready to go. So even if he were to go I'm gonna get you, the cat would already be gone. So
maybe, no. Now, but I will say we did find out he wants to eat a ferret. He met a ferret and he immediately started acting like we were holding a treat. Which is funny because Henwolf will lick the ferret and sniff it. Same with mice and stuff. She'll lick them and be like, "Hey, what are you?" But Chicano's just murder, glorious, glorious murder. Can I kill something? Please, my bloodlust. So, good old Chicano monster. But no, so, well, he can't, he's just he just has some different breeding, That's one of the reasons I really think he's got husky in him, because they're killing dogs. They kill stuff. As to where Wolfie is straight out of a lower budgeted Disney movie. So from the 90s, I just worry that one day she's going to read the rule book of the basketball team and see it doesn't say a dog can't play.
Oh no.
And then she'll start playing basketball and then she'll be too good for me.
No, she'll still love you. And even if she's too good for you for a little while, her career will end. And then she will come and apologize.
She'll show up with sunglasses and a suitcase and be like, "Look, I know I said a lot of things, but this is literally a BoJack Horseman sketch."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, but she says that, and then you say, "Listen, you really hurt me. You haven't called me in years. I didn't know if you were still alive." And then she says you're the closest thing I have to family. And then she takes off her sunglasses and she's crying.
And then I have to let her in because I didn't even know dogs could cry.
But they can. Probably. No, they probably can't. Maybe no, they don't, because cats can sweat through their paws. So I was gonna say
dogs do too.
Okay, so maybe her paws will just start dripping.
Ew.
I don't know. I'm confused.
Well, it was a good set. You set a good stage, though. That was good. Yeah, I'm just Wolfie, I've never seen you cry before. Come inside. I still have kibble. What were you going to say? That's because...
Oh, I was just gonna say that was a Futurama episode, I think.
Yes, was
With
that
the monkey?
Yes, it was the
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, Futurama. You know, I noticed recently there's a contingent of people on the internet very aggressive about the idea that Rick and Morty is not as good as Futurama, and that some people think Rick and Morty is better than Futurama.
I have not seen that. That's a thing?
I'm seeing it quite well. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times in the last 5 days, so I consider that to be evidence that it's a thing.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that at all.
Yeah, the people who love Futurama are adamant Rick and Morty is fine, but it is no Futurama. I'm inclined to agree.
I mean, me too, but I don't think they're the same kind of show, and it's a weird thing to compare the other one to.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, one is Rick and Morty, and the other one's pretty awesome. I don't hate Rick and Morty. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I liked it.
I mean, I haven't seen the last season of Rick and Morty because I just fell off. But I actually like Rick and Morty. I just don't like it enough to care about Pickle Rick, I guess.
Yeah, Pickle Rick was okay at best.
The thing was, like, that episode was actually pretty good, but that whole part, the Pickle Rick thing, was not that interesting or good. So I never understood why that was the thing that everybody took away from that.
Well, it was quotable, I guess.
I'm Pickle Rick. Like, it's...
you know, for me, I enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't help that I hate being negative, but I just detest Dan Harmon, one of the show's creators. Mm-hmm. I just hate him. I just think he's the most obnoxious, self-righteous, elitist piece of doo. When I watch interviews with him, I hated Rick and Morty more and more the more I listened to him talk. I was like, oh my God, he's the kind of person that, you know, literally I would meet at a party and decide the whole party was shit just because I met that guy and had to hear him talk.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen an interview with him. I know we've talked about this before. I don't know. I don't know.
The problem was the first time I'd watched some Rick and Morty and really liked it, and then he was interviewed in a documentary about Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And in the documentary, he made some ridiculous comparison. My big problem with him, honestly, is that he's super negative. He's like negative about everything. He's hateful about everything, and he's super self-righteous.
Yeah.
So that combo makes it hard for me to get along. And he basically said something along the lines of, like, you know, the reason Back to the Future has stood the test of time is because it's good. And then he said, like, and how many movies are really good? I mean, if the movie industry were any other business, if it was a tuna company, and every time you open the can of tuna, most of the time you found a human finger in there, you would complain, and the tuna company would have to do better. But in movies, it's not that way. You get like a finger in the can nearly every time. So when a movie's good, people remember it. And I'm like, dude, I go to the movies. Well, I used to go to the movies like once to twice a week. And I cannot tell you, it was so rare that I saw a movie I thought was just absolutely rotten. Most of the movies were worst case fine.
Well, I just think that's a weird, like, a false equivalency.
Well, yeah,
like,
because he's trying to be cool.
Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but it's like, cool, yeah. You could compare movies to music or other art, and then you get basically the same ratio, pretty much. I think you get, like, some things that are really good, and then a lot of things that are probably fine, and then some things that are really terrible. But I mean,
they're all subjective.
Yeah, very true, and which is not as, but. It's and cans of tuna fish aren't as subjective. I mean, but it's also, but even at the same time, it still doesn't make sense, because I'm sure there's a can of tuna that everybody's like, wow, this is the good tuna. And then there's a bunch that everyone's like, this is okay tuna. And then there's like one that was like, oh my God, that tuna was really bad that time. So it's probably the same too, honestly.
I mean, but I think that when you say it's like a human finger in the can, I mean, it's like that would only work if a lot of people were, if like at least a small cult following of people were like, I love when I get a finger in there. That's so good.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, maybe human finger doesn't work, but maybe like foreign object or something. Because I've definitely had things, and I've been like, I don't think that was food that I just ate. Like, I think there was something wrong, but it's too late because it's gone.
I'll know in a few hours when I'm at the hospital or not.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for listening. You can email us at thisshowIsAwkward@gmail.com or go to awkwardshow.com or whatever. See you next time.